What's going on, everyone? Another video, another week, another day, another project. We're working on the solar panel today, getting this mounted. Then I'll also show you some other electrical things. All right, let's get started. All right, a little update here. So what I've been doing, you saw in the time lapse, so I have the angle iron around the entire edge. Let's say this is the angle iron in the center, upside down. Framing the solar panel sits on it like that. It's going out that way to the outside that sits up like this. Framing of the panel has holes on the side. What I've done is I've measured where the holes are on the side of the panel and tried to measure the angle upside down, a spot to drill into that's in the exact same spot as the holes on the panel. And I've done the same thing on the other angle iron on the outside that's going upwards. A lot of measuring and drilling, and my measurements have to be precise. And here in a second, I'm about to check that. But what I'll do, if my holes are drilled in the right spot, I'll come up underneath the solar panel from the bottom. I'll go through the angle iron. Say this is the angle iron that's upside down here in the center. I'll come up through the bottom, through the solar panel, and then clamp a washer down and a lock nut like so, and it'll clamp the framing of the solar to the angle iron, tighten it up with this from underneath. If my holes are right and the bolt and nuts go in, I will not have room to get a drill in there, so I'll have to tighten it by hand. But what I'm gonna do to further add a good seal is, once I know my holes are in the right spots, I'll unscrew everything, loosen the panel, and then I'll come back with some caulk and caulk all the way around on the angle iron as much as I can. It's gonna get messy. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put these wooden dowels in all my holes, put the caulk down. Once the caulk dries, I can remove the wooden dowels from all my holes. I'll have access to my holes now, and then go back and put the screws in. All of that explanation, and now we're going to test to see if I measured and drilled my holes in the right spot. Because in hindsight, if I would have had the time when building this frame, before putting the frame up here and welding it in place, have my solar panel with me, have someone hold the panel exactly where it's gonna go, and that way I can drill from underneath the backside of the cargo rack. Anyways, didn't do that. We're doing it this way. Fingers crossed, holes are in the right spot. Let's get after it. Okay, well, good news and bad news. The good news is I drilled my holes in the right spot. The bad news is I did not factor in the width of the nuts, and especially the width of the washers. When the screw goes through the hole, it's practically on the sidewall of the framing of the solar panel. So I can't even fit this on the top or the end, screw it down. So I gotta rethink this plan, re-drill more holes. That's 8 holes. But I gotta make sure that when I drill it, that I've got room to fit this washer on the inside of the framing of the solar panel. Because when you go up underneath, it looks like a C framing all the way around the panel. So I'll come up underneath, set the washer in, but I gotta make sure when it hits the sidewall that it'll actually go down on top of the screw and the nut on top of the washer, like so. So yeah, the difficult part is the cargo rack is welded in place. You can't exactly, well, let me show you. So you see right in here, This is underneath the solar panel, and here is where I'm trying to take the washer and fit it in there. And where I screwed my holes, didn't have enough room. Got to rethink this and try again. Take two. Okay, second go round was a success. We have all the bolts and washers and nuts fitting perfectly. I think I was a little off though in my explanations about the caulk. We're not putting the caulk down for the panel to adhere to. The caulk is actually going down to act as a rubber seal. So it's not metal on metal, the metal framing of the solar panel and the metal cargo rack. I'm sure the sealant will adhere to the panel somewhat, but we're gonna let it dry for the most part. We're gonna put a lot, so it's acting as a rubber barrier seal. I tried to find a rubber seal at a hardware store, wasn't really having any luck, but I was like, hey, wait, I got 3 tubes of black silicone, so we'll just use that. All right, we're going to get back to it. Finally attach the solar panel to the cargo rack. Once that is on, Uncle Bill will then run the line solar panel to the battery management system, which we will get to hopefully later in this video. I'm not sure how long this video is going to be, so this might be a twofer, a two-part. All right, anyways, getting off track. Let's get this solar panel attached. All right, so we're finally going to go over the electrical in this video. I have the Redarc system, and it's supposed to be an all-encompassing electrical system. The company is based out of Australia. Coupled with the Redarc system is my 6,000 watt inverter. Yes, that is correct. I said a 6,000 watt inverter, and also a Victron Energy solar charge controller. This is everything. And this is what's being housed underneath the Murphy bed. And I've got it on its own little support system. Frame is screwed directly into the floor of the van. Not just the floor, but the actual van coming up off of this. And I've got it set up this way, and that way if I ever need to take it out. If you recall in my previous videos where I've spoken about the Murphy bed, down below at the base of the Murphy bed will be a cabinet lid. So I can access this entire electrical system. If I need to, I can still unscrew it from the van floor and remove the whole thing as one. That's what we have right now. All that I have hooked up to it is my 2 vent fans in the ceiling, my CB and ham radio up in the front on the dash, which my uncle and I are going to be relocating that into the ceiling later. We'll show you that. My fridge and freezer unit is hooked up, and my water pump. Now we still have to hook up the lights, which we'll show later in another video, and my stove. My stove is propane, but it has electrical components. I think there's like digital readouts or something on it. Oh, and then my 2 marine fans. We're still hooking those up too, but I have to get my second closet up for that because I'm attaching both the marine fans on the closets facing the bed for when it's down. I think that's it for electrical. Probably my perimeter lights too, that are going to go on the outside, but that's a video for another day. I've already said too much. Okay. All right, so I went over briefly of the electrical system. There's not much to it. We've got the battery management system, we got the distribution box, the inverter, and the solar charge controller. If you've seen one video, you've seen them all. But here's what's really cool, and it comes with the Redarc system, is the display screen. So here we have the display screen mounted into the side of the closet. I've got it mounted here, up high towards the ceiling, so when I'm standing up, it's at eye level. And then I also have it on this side of the closet facing the back doors because the other side of the closet the water from the shower could potentially hit it, so we don't want to damage it. And then also when the bed is down, I can still be in bed and have access to it. I can actually access the program from anywhere on my phone, so I will show you that here in a second. But here, it's very simple. You just power it on and it brings you to this main screen where it has this little checklist icon. You just hit the button next to it and it tells you the model number and where the device is from. Then go to the back button icon, hit the button next to it, brings you to the, we'll call it for all intents and purposes, the house screen. So right now, I've only got 4 icons set up. I have room for more. I can even hit the over button to change the screen. But we got the fans, the refrigerator, my ham radio and CB radio, and my water pump. And it's just as simple as hitting it and it's on. And you can also double tap and it locks everything. So right now, just the fan is locked, so I can't turn it on, but I can turn on the fridge. If I want to turn on my ham radio, I just hit the button next to it and you'll hear it come on, like so. Turn it off, turn on the water pump, and it kicked on. And then you can see here, this is the battery management system. We're currently full, so it's not taking any juice, but the pump, when it's not being used, has 0.2 amps being taken out. But because we have more solar coming in, it's the same amount. So I could sit there all day in the sun, not lose any juice. Turn the radio on. All right, so now we got a 0.5 amps going down. So you see how that works. And then you see the icons next to the battery. We got a car, sun, and plug. So the car is when the alternator is charging, sun obviously from the solar, and then the plug for shore power. Go over here, this is just a different way to read everything. This is the menu that you go to when you want to set things up. As you can see, we got Bluetooth. So here, we'll go ahead and show you how the app works. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you a little bit about the app. Pull it up, it comes with 2 different apps. You got the configurator app and the Red Vision app. The configurator app is what will allow you to configure your distribution box, meaning you're telling it what's hooked up to what fuse, lights, refrigerator. And then the Red Vision app syncs up with the configurator app, so then you can see it where it makes a little bit more sense. And this is what it looks like. Somewhat like the display screen on the closet. Here it is, it pulls it up, we're at 100%, it's charging through solar. Now what you're seeing here, all these numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you can connect up to 6 water tanks. Why you would have 6 water tanks in your vehicle is beyond me, but yes, that's what that is for. But I don't have a electronic measuring device in the water tank yet. Probably gonna do one, but for right now it's not hooked up. Then you scroll further down, just basic info, letting you know what's coming in, how many volts. But this is the main screen. You switch over to control and boom, here you go. I can just tap with the finger and hit fans. Now my fans are on. Turn them off, turn on my radio. Radio comes on. Same thing with the fridge and water pump. And I will have more on here later, like lights, maybe some other things. But for now, this is what I have. You can lock each one if you were to hit the power button. Right now, I just got my fans and my water pump locked, but if I wanted to, I could lock the fridge. That way, when I powered everything off, the fridge would stay on. So I mean, that's pretty much it, folks. All right, so that's the electrical system. Kind of went over that now. Now I'm gonna go ahead and point out the water heater. I've told y'all that I'm not keeping it. I believe I said I'm not keeping it, and I'm getting something smaller because it's way too big. But we didn't get to hook it up before Descend, and now we're hooking it up now. We got it hooked up last night, and let's just say it wasn't good. Uncle came in and was like, good news, bad news. Good news is I figured out how to get all the electrical components to read on the digital readout, because it's propane, but it also has electrical, so you can like see your temperatures and whatnot. Bad news is your water heater caught fire. Here we have these burnt wires. We have the gas solenoid, but if you see back here where the glue is on this aluminum, this was cracked, and we believe that's what started the fire. My uncle was away up here by the water faucet running the water, and I guess he heard this kick on, and he came to check on it like 5 seconds, a long 5 seconds, and this was all on fire. Thankfully, we had a water hose, and he was able to put it out. But why am I showing you all this? Why am I telling you? Why is it still attached to the door? Because we're Texans, and we want to see it happen again, but in front of our faces versus us not being around. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
You're about to see us not catch the van on fire.
Hopefully. Turn it on.
Yep.
Now when I call for the demand,
Just turn off goes.
yeah, just turn it off anyway.
I just thought about, you said heat coming out of here.
Well, that's at the top. If you panic, there's a and also if there's anytime you have a fire with a fire extinguisher, you shoot it at the base, not on the fire, but at the base of the fire.
Yeah, that I know.
Are you a fireman?
No, but I mean, it makes sense to hit the base because, I mean, if you're shooting the top of a fire, you're not putting anything out.
Are you ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
Let's see, I think this is a hot. We got our hot and cold reversed here.
Seriously?
All right, here we go.
All right, it's on.
Is hot heat coming out the top?
Yes.
Oh yeah, your water's getting hot. Oh, your water's getting real hot. Whoa, water getting real hot. Whoa.
Oh, I can see the steam. Well, it works. Just not gonna work long term.
No, it's not gonna work at all. I mean,
I bet as soon as I shut this door, it'll break again.
Oh, it'll snap it off. Yeah, but that's the way it's supposed to work.
We didn't set the van on fire. Well, now we know.
Sorry.
Well, like I said, I wasn't gonna keep it anyway. It's too damn big. Realizing that's just not gonna work.
I guarantee you slamming the door did that. Because with the hose on it.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, good work. I'll be spending the next couple of weeks looking for a new one. All right, so now I'm going to show you the reinstall replacement, meaning we're not replacing, but we're replacing the ham radio. We're gonna jump into that to show you a little bit, and then I don't know, show you something. All right, let's do this. This is the final product. So if you recall in previous videos, I had the radios here on the dash. So many wires, so much stuff, just always a clutter. But now, as you can see, we have a nice, clean, uncluttered dash. I am happy. All the wires that we had previously are now coming in through the ceiling, through a hole back here. As you can see there, I'll end up getting a rubber grommet of some sort and putting here. I can easily unplug everything and fit it in and out of the hole. So now, just sitting here, it's out of the way. It's in still my peripheral. I can just easily grab my radios, make a call, turn everything on, and still not be distracted. More importantly, not have stuff blocking, because the radios used to sit up here. And so this bottom corner section, I mean, you couldn't see anything in the corners down there. But that is it. And that is the electrical system. So we've covered everything from solar panels to how I power this bad boy to even some malfunctions. Next week, we will talk more about the facing on all the framing on the passenger side. That's gonna be a 2-part video, maybe even a 3-part for sure. But for this video, it is over. And man, that sun is blasting down on me. All right, you know what time it is. Peace.